Today we are going to make a clay pencil holder. We're going to do this using the coil method technique. But first you're going to get a tray and you're going to write your name in Sharpie on the tray. It needs to be in Sharpie. So write your name and your class code. I'm just going to leave that blank because I'm not in a class, but you write your class code. Then you're going to get a piece of fabric. And this piece of fabric has been cut so that it will wrap around this cardboard tube. Carefully wrap that around on the edge of the fabric and then push all that extra into the tube, and that will lock that fabric into place. This will keep the clay from sticking onto the cardboard tube. Next, you're going to get a large chunk of clay. And when you get that large chunk of clay, you're going to roll it into a ball. And you do this by rolling it in your hands, kind of like if you had a baseball that you were just rolling around in your hands. Lay out your towel placemat, and you can push the ball onto the towel but not onto the table. Then slap that between your two hands to flatten it out and make it bigger. Once it is big enough that it's got an edge all the way around your cardboard tube, you're ready to lay it down on your tray. That's going to be the base. You do need to have a border all the way around your cardboard tube. Set that off to the side. Then you're going to get smaller pieces of clay, and these are going to become your coils. Now squeeze it like a slug, just squeeze it in your hand and roll it out. Now, sometimes people will just roll like back and forth without going all the way out. And then what ends up happening is they just kind of get this flat thump shape. You don't want that. You want a nice coil. So roll it all the way out and all the way back. And your hand should be spreading out as you go. You don't want it to break in the middle. People will have it break in the middle when they only keep their hands in the middle. So see, I'm keeping my hands in the middle, and then of course it breaks just like that. Instead, what you want to do is you want to roll it so that you spread your hands out as you go. So again, I squeeze it a little bit and then I start rolling it, and then see how my hands go out towards the edges as I roll it out. Now you want this to be about as thick as your Sharpie. So I take my Sharpie and I'm going to measure it and make sure it's about that thick. Yep, it's about that thick. Then you're going to get your towel out, because you do not want your table to become wet. And you're going to use this special kind of bristle brush. It's a wire bristle brush, kind of looks like a toothbrush for robots. And you just scrape it along with a little bit of water on that brush, and that scores and slips your clay together. It opens up the clay, and water is used as the glue. And you have to have those score marks in order for the clay to be put together. So you're also going to score by just scraping. You're going to scrape this circle, put your tube back on, put the scraped side so that it wraps around and touches the other scraped side. Let me show you again how I do this. All right, so I'm going to show you once again how you wrap it around. You want to make sure it touches that border around, touches the scraped sides together and wraps around. And you want to push it down very gently just to make sure there's no gaps in between your coils. And then you make another coil and scrape the surfaces and wrap it around, and you do it again and again and again and again. Okay, I'm going to fast forward real fast now so you can see how I build up this coil pot. So squeeze, roll it out. Roll it out. See how I'm moving my hands from the center going to the edge till it's about as thick as my Sharpie. Get my towel because I do not want a wet table because it will make everything stick and be awful. Scrape, scrape, scrape with the water. Scrape the water on. Scrape, scrape, scrape. That's how we use clay glue. Line it right up with the edge that was left so that there's no gaps. Gently push it down so there's no gap. See, I'm gently pushing that down, not smashing it down, just gently. And then I do that over and over again until I have gone all the way to the top of my cardboard tube. All right, once you've gotten to the top of the tube, you want to make sure that it's nice and smooth, no gaps. You can dip your finger in the water and smooth out any of the scrapings that show, because you don't want it to be scraped because that will turn into really sharp points. So you want to smooth it out with the water. Once it's dry, the teacher will come through and take out the cardboard tube and take out the fabric, but that's a teacher job. So just leave it like that and it's ready to get fired.